A deduction star skin and B.Duck is back yet again. Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode, guys. Remember that as you watch today's content, I want to gently remind you all to be mindful when making purchases in IDV. The real cost for items in game is quite tricky to calculate and is designed so on purpose. This can lead you to spend more than you intended to. Remember that they are digital items and can be lost if your account is terminated or compromised at any moment. One of the things that we're getting this week is we're getting the Chinese New Year warm-up event, or at least I believe that's what we're getting, because it isn't really clear exactly what the name of this thing is. They called it the preheat event. I don't know. During this event, I believe we'll be getting a login reward. If you log into the game, you'll be able to get 10 memory spheres. I also believe we're getting a memory sphere reset. For those of you guys that don't know what a memory sphere reset is, memory spheres are those yellow spheres that kind of give you different content from previous essences. You can get a ton of different things. By reset, I mean you can go over to the essence and there are kind of as an option to go and select 3 different items guaranteed. So if you kind of get a guaranteed A tier, you will get that specific guaranteed A tier that you wanted. I believe you can get an S tier accessory, an A tier skin, and a B tier skin or something along those lines. And so every now and then they let you kind of reset those. So if you've kind of got the reward and then you go to the reset, you'll be able to select another reward and that will become your new guaranteed next time you get an A tier or something like that. During this event as well, I believe that all characters will be free to use. So that's quite nice for people who have not unlocked all of the characters. Another thing that we're getting this week is we're getting the Deduction Star Knight skin, Edward Beneath the Crown. This is the weird looking skin. I think it's not one of his best skins. I think the current Koa one that's in the current essence is actually better than this one, in my personal opinion. Maybe you like royalty and stuff, but yeah, he's kind of got a red, gold, brown kind of theme to him, and he's got a crown that he puts on whenever he uses his kind of knight kind of prediction ability, and he wears it, I think, as long as he's kind of getting the buffs and stuff. But yeah, it's an okay skin if you like the theme. This skin will be available for echoes and for fragments, and I believe it's going to be discounted for the first week, although it is a permanent skin, so you can purchase it at any time, just not with the discount, of course. Another thing that we're getting this week is we're getting the return of the B.Duck Crossover. How many times have we had B.Duck back already? It feels like this might at least be the 5th time, but I'm not completely sure. I believe we're getting part 1 and also part 2, meaning we're getting the returning skins for Guard 26, that is an S tier skin called B.Duck. We're getting Mercenaries A tier B.Duck Style, Prisoners A tier Rice, and Perfumers A tier Buffy, all available in the store. These are all echoes only, as crossovers usually are, and I don't think there is any type of discount. And it's possible also we'll get the return of other rewards, including kind of portraits, graffitis, and stuff like that. And it's also possible that we'll get some returning furniture from previous crossovers that I believe will all be in the store for echoes as well. I'm not completely sure, as they haven't really shown any of those things, but they usually do bring those things back whenever they give us the B.Duck crossover stuff, so I'd be surprised if they didn't. We've got some character days this week as well, as on the 21st we're getting Clerk's character day. That's going to be her 3rd character day, meaning she's getting an animated graffiti. And also on the 24th we're getting Feaster's character day. It's going to be his 7th character day, meaning he's also getting an animated graffiti, I believe. And something that we might potentially see this week, I can't really guarantee if it's coming because they put it on the same poster with a lot of the Chinese New Year reward stuff, but they didn't really say that it was coming this week or not. They just had it on the poster there, is a special echo package. Now this is a Chinese New Year themed package where you get a discount on echoes. There are 3 packages that we've had in previous years, and they are kind of discounted to $14.99 for 1,198 echoes, $25.99 for 2,058 echoes, and $49.99 for 4,090 echoes. I believe these are quite significant discounts for the prices, so that means that you should be able to get some of these newer pieces of content, as long as you are being careful with how much you spend, for a little bit cheaper. I've also left a link to a tool that I believe a Japanese player has put, or maybe it's a Chinese player, to help you kind of calculate how many echoes you'll need exactly for all of the content that you want to buy. It's a really cool little tool. Go and check it out. As far as I know, that's all that we're getting this week. Not sure if you guys noticed, but last week we did get the game engine update, but we didn't get it on PC. So whatever that's all about, I don't really know. But let's talk about some future content here. We got a slightly better look at Season 41's Logic Path and also the rank rewards that are coming on February 5th. This is the A-tier Wu-Chang skin called Rift of Dawn and Dusk. Really, I've talked about this before. It's not my favorite Wu-Chang skin. I don't even think it's in my top 10, top 20, or top 30. I don't even know how many he has, but it's somewhere near the bottom there. I think it's fine. It's neutral, but I think the umbrella looks quite nice. We've also got a better look at the B tier accessory Rhythm of Time that comes along in this logic path. It seemed to be like some pan pipes with a colorful paint on with some colorful paint on top of them. Again, B tier doesn't have any effects, but of course you can equip effects nowadays. And we've got a similar or slightly better look at the upcoming accessories for the rank rewards. You know, the S tier accessory for Composer called Dragon Song that we've got on the screen here, the A tier accessory for Escapologist called Whale Fall, and also the A tier accessory for Disciple called Duskfield Murmurs. We don't know what the effects are yet, but I'm sure we'll get those relatively soon. And yeah, a reminder that next week I believe we should be getting tons of returning Chinese New Year content, as that is what I've seen online. I believe that we're getting S tiers for Cowboy, Acrobat and that lot. I think it's next week. Not completely sure. We'll talk about that next week. Regardless, I couldn't get a lot of these things checked by my usual team that checked my notes because I was a bit of a rush today. I was a little bit late with doing all of these things as I had other stuff. So I'm sorry if I made some mistakes, but I believe I've got most of the stuff right this week. And if you haven't already, make sure that you click on the video that's right there because YouTube thinks that you'll like it.